Hello and welcome, friends. Welcome to your February 2022 reading with me, Intuitive Rene. I hope 2022 is treating you well so far. I sort of skipped the January readings because life, but I'm hoping that I'm back on track and we will have the videos coming up for you on a regular basis. So these month ahead readings are released, or should be released, the Friday before the end of the month, or should we say Friday before the new month. So that's why these videos are now being released in time for the 1st of February, so that you have a little bit of time to watch the video, to watch the reading, to absorb the information, and be prepared for what the month ahead has in store for you. So there are individual readings for each sign of the zodiac. The process of the reading is done exactly the same for all 12, but obviously the context and the information that comes through will be different for each of the 12 readings. You can watch, the main one that you need to watch is for your sun sign, which is the zodiac that you all know. When people say, oh, what star sign are you? Whatever your answer is to that based on your date of birth, it's where it's where the sun was at the time of your birth, and that is your sun sign. And the zodiacs, these readings that I'm doing, are really based on your sun sign. If you know your moon sign, if you know your rising sign, you are more than welcome to watch those videos as well, to understand yourself a bit better as far as your personality and your emotions and all of those other things. I don't want to go into a whole astrology lesson for you now, but you absolutely can watch those videos to get a little bit more insight into you. I have changed the format of these month ahead readings. So I'm using quite a few cards, and I'm hoping that it's going to give you detailed information to guide you through the month. I would also advise, obviously, watch it now before the month starts, and then do come back and watch it during the month. Maybe set a reminder on your phone to come back sort of halfway through the month, or 10 days in and then 20 days in, and so on. If or any time that you are experiencing a challenge or a problem, or you're not sure which way to go or what's going on. So the video is available to you all the time. You could also even come back to it in March and look at it again and do a bit of an analysis of what was said was going to take place and what actually did. So it could be quite interesting to look at it retrospectively as well. So as I said, there is a video for each sign of the zodiac. Everybody's getting this intro message. It just saves me repeating myself 12 times and that type of thing. So we're now going to go straight into your particular reading, and I do hope you enjoy. At this point, I do want to ask, if you haven't already done, please do consider subscribing to my channel and giving this video a like and a comment. Just lets YouTube know that you've enjoyed it, and it'll help my channel grow and reach more people. So the more people engage and interact with my videos, the more YouTube goes, okay, let's show this to more people, and then that way we actually spread the word a little bit. So as a way of showing appreciation and gratitude for what I do for you as a free service, please do consider a thumbs up, a comment, and if you haven't already done so, please do hit the subscribe. And yeah, let's get into your particular reading. Right, Aquarius, let's get into your reading and let's have a look and see the energy for February 2022. I have got two decks on the table here with me that we're going to be working with for the reading. This is the Sacred Destiny Oracle by Denise Lynn, and this is going to give us our theme for the month ahead. So let's just give it a shuffle and let's see what card wants to come through for the theme for you for February 2022. So let's just give it a shuffle, and I'm actually going to pick that one over there. Let's see what we've got for you. So Aquarius, the theme for the month ahead for you, we've got healing chaos. You know what, this card comes up so often when I do any kind of reading using this deck, because it's something that we're all going through. It's something that we all need to experience and we need to embrace. It's about recognizing that change is happening whether we like it or not, and we can either embrace it and go with it, or we can resist and suffer through it. And that's exactly what healing chaos is all about. Healing happens, and it's never fun. If anybody has any kind of illness or needs surgery or something, we have to cut into it. We have to operate. We have to do the chaos in order for the healing to take place. So that's a simple analogy for what healing chaos represents in our lives. And it's not something that you need to be afraid of either. You know, sometimes it can seem chaotic, and sometimes it can seem a little bit too much and a little bit scary and a little bit daunting and all those kind of things. But sometimes, you know, there's a comfort and there's a security in that chaos and in that situation that we have. And that's what looks like February is going to be about for you. So there may be a lot of changes, and there may be a lot of events and situations and circumstances that happen during the month, and it may seem very chaotic, but there's a reason and there's a purpose behind it all, and that reason and that purpose is actually going to bring you the security and the comfort and the contentment that you need in your life. All right, as you can see, I am shuffling the tarot deck. This particular tarot deck is the Dark Mansions Tarot, and I'm using it this month because it's just so beautiful and I just love the artwork. This deck shuffles terribly. It's got a beautiful rose petal finish on it, so to touch it feels really, really luxurious, but they clump and they don't shuffle, they don't glide and slide easily. So shuffling is always a challenge with this particular deck. All right, so the deck has had quite a good shuffle, and I'm now going to cut the deck and lay out the cards. Actually going to cut over there. Let's lay out the cards and see what comes through for Aquarius. You see, healing chaos. This is exactly what I was saying. I'm going to explain all as soon as I have laid out all the cards. So just bear with me as I go through this process. Oh, I love it. I love it. So we've got some really good cards coming through. Nothing overly concerning or worrying. I'm just trying to get all the cards positioned, and then we will start with the reading. And our last one. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. So Aquarius, let's have a look. I want to just, as I said, these cards don't slide easily. And having them on a suede cloth also just complicates issues as far as rearranging them goes. But if we look at what we've got, I know that is scary. And I know everybody's like, eek, what's going on? I don't want that. But I'm going to explain it to you in a second. But overall, when I look at all the 10 cards, 11 including this one that we've got positioned here for you, Aquarius, what comes through is that we have to embrace the change. It's that we have to go through a little bit of uncomfortable, a little bit of crazy, and a little bit of unexpected, and a little bit of whatever in order to come out in the way that we need to, in the way that we should. So I do feel as if change is inevitable for you, and it looks like we do need to embrace that change. Now, let's start off with this uncomfortable card. So this is the way that you're sort of, if I can say, coming into February, okay? So February is going to sort of start off with a bit of a bang. Nothing about death, okay? Nobody is dying. There's no death taking place at all. I'm actually going to put my finger over it completely to hide that word. But if we have a look at what's going on, so here we have this fella, and he's sitting on a pavement. He's sitting on the edge of something, and you can see that he's been sitting waiting for the longest time. So you can see he is the angel of death. He's got his scythe, and he's sitting and he's waiting and he's waiting and he's waiting. And because he's just sitting around waiting, nothing's happening. But as soon as he gets up and starts doing stuff, things will start moving and things will start developing and taking place. He knows that there's a time and a place for his purpose. He knows exactly what it is he needs to do, but he's just waiting for that right time. He knows that everybody needs to go through that gate at some point. And when somebody arrives at that gate, he will be ready to jump into action and to do the things that he needs to do. So when we talk about death, all it is a change from one state or form to another. And when we incorporate it with our healing chaos, when we bring these two together, that tornado, it's destructive, it's petrifying, it's scary, it's all of those kind of things, but it's covered in butterflies. I mean, and anything covered in butterflies can't be scary, can't be dangerous, can't be petrifying, but yet it is. We also have to understand that once this has happened, once the destruction has taken place, we are left with something that is completely different to what we had before, and hence the death. So you as a person, your life, your circumstance, your situation is ever evolving. And that is what life is all about. Life is evolution, and evolution is life. And this is Spirit saying to you, Aquarius, that you cannot go through life being the same all the time. You cannot go through life never experiencing change, never experiencing growth. You can't. Sometimes that growth comes with pain. Sometimes that growth is not comfortable. Sometimes it can cause all sorts of other things. But at the end of the day, growth is something that's going to happen. Just going back to this death card, and I know I'm over talking it, but I need to, okay, because that's just what I'm hearing in my head. It sounds crazy when I say that. Um, the death card, I want to say to you, I'm going to talk about school children for a second. If you've got a child, or think about your own self when you were in your last year of school, you were excited, you were enthusiastic, you had your whole world, your whole life ahead of you, and you were excited about the potential and the opportunities and how amazing it was going to be, and you were going to do this and you were going to do that, and you were going to experience this and you were going to experience that. And then when it happened, when you stepped into adulthood and you stepped away from school, you were no longer the student. The student died. It ended. It came to an end. And you suddenly became an adult. You were thrust into the deep end, and suddenly you had to, whether it is adjust to university or start a job or whatever it is, but suddenly people treated you differently. Suddenly everybody's responding to you differently. Suddenly the requirements of what you have to do is different, because you ceased to be a child. You ceased to be a student. It doesn't mean that you no longer exist, because you absolutely do, but you have changed. And through that process, you grew, you evolved, and you became somebody different. So basically, Aquarius, really long explanation for Spirit to say to you, February is about evolution. February is about you stepping up to the plate, about you embracing life, taking on a little bit more and allowing yourself to heal through that. Okay, so change is inevitable. What's helping, hindering, or behind that change is the fact that your attraction has shifted to other things. So what we have here with this Page of Pentacles, he's holding a really big disc in his hand, a really big coin in his hand. And you can see by the expression on his face that he's super eager, super enthusiastic, and super excited about said coin. He's sort of missing everything else around him because he's focusing on that coin, because that coin has his undivided attention. And because of that, he's not seeing everything else around him. And we've got to be careful, Aquarius, that that's not the trap that we're in. We've got to make sure that we're not honed in on one thing and we're missing everything else. And again, I wonder if that's where the healing chaos is going to come into it. So the change is happening because your interests are changing. You're suddenly fascinated, interested, and curious about many, many other things. And you have to recognize that. You have to recognize the evolution that is taking place within you. The problem with this is that it maybe goes against other people's thoughts. It may go against these new interests that you have, and these new experiences that you're looking forward to are not what other people would expect for you. So what's happened is your conditioning has maybe put you in a position where you're not seeing what's right in front of you, where you're not seeing, actually, you know what, I don't like that anymore, and I actually prefer this, and I actually want this. So if I talk about diet for a second, you may be the kind of person who used to enjoy eating meat. Now, suddenly, you're no longer interested in eating meat, but you haven't actually admitted it to yourself. You haven't actually noticed it. It's there. And maybe every night when you're reaching for supper or making food or whatever, you find yourself finding alternates, but you haven't actually labeled yourself. You haven't actually said it out loud. Guess what, people? I don't like to eat meat anymore, and I want to be a vegetarian or a vegan. It's about you admitting to yourself, because and being afraid of the repercussions of it, because that's what this is. So recognizing your evolution, recognizing that what appeals to you has changed, and you're almost being afraid to admit that to yourself. Okay? And you know what? It's very interesting, Aquarius, because this is Spirit saying to you that this has been a long time coming, that you've actually been working towards this new version of yourself for the longest time. You've been experimenting, because you can see he's a little bit of a scientist. You've been experimenting and trying different combinations and trying different different things for quite some time now. So much so that you're no longer the same person. You have evolved. And admitting it, accepting it, putting it out there is maybe the scary thing. And maybe this is something that you need to do. It's about expressing yourself without fear of ramifications or anything like that, because it's something that you've been working on for the longest time. And Aquarius, it's very interesting. When I look at like the two cards that are left on that top row, these four here, these four here are talking about the evolution, talking about the change, talking about the fact that you're fascinated, interested, and you are somebody different. What we've got over here with this one, this is the support that's available to you. And what we have here is the card of patience, but it's the card of joy. It's the card of success. It's the card of abundance, but it also is the card of saying you reap what you sow. So this particular gentleman planted a seed, and he has come and nurtured his garden every single day. He's weeded, he's taken care of. Now suddenly his trees are bearing fruit. His vine is producing money. I mean, I wish I had the money tree. But suddenly he is seeing the fruits of his labor. He's suddenly seeing the opportunities that are available to him. And he's suddenly recognizing that all the hard work that he's put into for the longest time is now starting to pay off. And it's only because he's admitted to himself that he's changed. He's admitted to himself that he's now doing something else. His garden that he's been working on is no longer hidden. Everybody knows that he's now that person, that he's now a farmer. He's a proud farmer, and he's also enjoying success. He hasn't kept it a secret. He's recognized that his needs, wants, and desires, his methods, his processes have changed. And that is where this healing comes in. When you admit to yourself that you are different, and who you are now is somebody who deserves happiness, but you do have to learn patience. So Aquarius, I know patience, such a word, hey? Such a word. You've got to learn to be patient with yourself. You've got to learn to be patient with your situation. And if you are able to learn that, you will have everything that your heart desires, because that's what our Queen of Pentacles offers. She offers us abundance. She offers us success. She offers us happiness. She offers us a life of comfort, a life of pretty things. She offers us everything our heart desires and so much more. But she also recognizes that nothing comes for free, that nothing comes without cost. Okay, so Aquarius, if I look at this top row for you, it is Spirit saying to you, we understand that you're maybe afraid of change, that you're maybe holding on to who you used to be. When you recognize that you are no longer interested in the same things, that you now have new interests, new activities, and new passions, and when you stop hiding it from yourself and stop hiding it from the world and realize that you've been working towards this for the longest time, and you have been patient and you are patient, but most importantly, that you are proud of yourself, you're going to see how easy, how simple, and how beautiful opportunities can be. And yeah, it may bring a little bit of chaos in your life. It may, because people are going to look at you and go, what's going on? You know, who are you? What are you? People are going to look at you and like, you're a little bit weird. But actually, it's about you stepping into your power and becoming your true, authentic self. Okay, so through all of this, this is how people see you, Aquarius. People see you as somebody who's dedicated, focused, hardworking, committed, you know, and everybody's standing by and learning from you. Everybody's watching your every move. Everybody's watching you every move and going, ooh, ah, ooh. And everybody's saying, okay, so that's how you do it. So everybody's watching and learning from you so that they can go and replicate it for themselves. So you've got to recognize that people are watching you all the time. And don't be afraid to show your true colors, because that's what we're seeing here. Don't be afraid to show your methods. Don't be afraid to show your processes. Don't be afraid to shock the audience. I like that. Shock the audience, Aquarius. Don't be afraid to shock the audience. You know, and people are, like I said, people are watching you, and they're watching your every move, and they're watching your methods, and they're watching your processes. And that's who you are on the outside. But who you are on the inside is somebody who's like, nah, let's throw the rules away. Let's just say to hell with it, and let's just take that leap of faith, and let's just jump off the cliff, and let's just see what happens. Let's see if we can float. Let's see if we can fly. Let's see if we can experience. And I know that sounds silly, and I know that sounds a little bit reckless and a little bit crazy, but actually it's about recognizing and embracing change. Recognizing that if you don't take a chance, if you don't take a risk, if you don't stir things up a little bit, you're never going to step beyond where you are at the moment. So this is the card of beginning, of enthusiasm, of embracing life and embracing opportunities and not being afraid to take a risk. And Aquarius, this is Spirit saying to you, February is the month for you to take that risk, for you to have faith in yourself, in your abilities, in your understandings, in your learnings and your lessons and your experiences, and to have faith and to say, you know what, I'm ready for this. I'm ready to change. I'm ready to evolve. I'm ready to become something, someone completely different. And now is the time for that to happen. Now is the time for that to happen. And we need to believe. The star card is the card of believe. It's the card of renewal. It's the card of hope. It's the card that says your dreams can come true as long as you are putting the effort in, as long as you are doing the work, and as long as you are being proactive in your outlook and in your experience and in everything that you do. Don't ever give up. You can sit and do nothing and hope that it all works itself out, or you can create magic for yourself and replenish what you have lost. Put it back in. There is an unlimited volume or amount of life force available to you now for you to grab, for you to harness, for you to hold on to, that can bring you the happiness, the joy, the success, and the abundance that you so desperately want in your life. And you know what? Most importantly, Aquarius, what you so desperately deserve in your life. Because ultimately, so this is where I really get excited. We look at all the cards that we've got here. We're going to look at this final card. And this final card is saying, if you overcome this fear, if you allow the change to happen, if you just go with the flow, and if you're honest with yourself, most important, if you are honest with yourself, and if you embrace who you truly are, you are going to have an abundant, happy, successful family. If you look at this card, we've got 3 generations. We've got grandparent, we've got mom and dad, we've got child, we've got a whole bunch of children, we've even got babies, and we've got puppy dogs. And there is money all around. There is abundance, happiness, joy. This is like the perfect family photo. That perfect family photo we all strive for, that we want to put up on the wall. This is what's available to you. You can have your heart's desire. You can have everything that you want, everything that gives you that joy, that happiness, and that success. It's all available to you as long as you embrace the chaos. So Aquarius, Spirit is saying to you, February is going to be interesting. February is going to be full of highs and lows, but ultimately it's going to end on a high note. February is going to end up with you feeling different, confident, enthusiastic, motivated, and not afraid to make the changes that are necessary. I do believe, when I look at this whole spread in front of me here, Aquarius, I do believe this is Spirit saying to you, everything is changing. Everything is changing. Right down to what you eat, what you enjoy, the way that you look, everything is shifting and changing. So if there's changes that you've been wanting for yourself and holding on to for the longest time, now is the time to embrace it. Now is the time for that change to happen. February is the month. Bring it. You are ready. You are ready to embrace it. So do it. I wish you a month of success, of happiness, of joy. With love and blessings from my heart to yours. Until we meet again, take care, Aquarius.